In today's video, we're going to talk about confidence with a good friend of mine, so stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. It is Lydia and I am here with a good friend of mine, Maura. We are going to be talking about confidence today. So why don't you tell us a little bit about you and who you are and what you are doing nowadays?
Well, my name is Maura Sweeney, and yes, we're good friends because I'm such good friends with your mom.
Yes.
And we go way back. I am, among other things, a podcaster, an international speaker. My topics are leadership, influence, and the power of happiness in the workplace. And all three of them are such incredible passions of mine. And probably the thing I'm most known for is I was given an honorary title called the Ambassador of Happiness.
Maura speaks to thousands of people often, right?
Yeah, I do. I've spoken
confidence is, you are confidence. You need the confidence, and that's why we have her here today to kind of expand on that and what the importance is, and if it is important to be confident.
I love to look up words, and I want to read two things about the definition of confidence that I thought were good places to start. Confidence is the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something. It's firm trust. Think about this. You know, confidence or a lack of confidence is if we feel like this. Like if anything goes wrong or if somebody says the wrong thing to us, we fall apart.
Yes.
But I thought that was interesting, firm trust. But here's the other one that I think anybody that's listening today will glean from. Listen to this. It's a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. And think about the worlds we live in. Aren't we always told if we watch whatever's going on in media, we've got to look like so-and-so. We have to follow this. We have to do more like that.
Yes.
And we're in cultures that are constantly changing. So what that means is that rather than finding out what makes us feel happy, what's firm for us, what's real for us, we're constantly like running after these other things that we feel are either markers or standard bearers or the things that other people value. And the more we follow that, the more unlike ourselves we become, and probably the less confident.
Yeah, we're always grasping at that next, whatever next thing it is. And when it says something firm, that can be inside yourself, and it doesn't have to be an external grasp at something. So, and the reason I asked you about confidence today is because I have met many people who do not have confidence in themselves. I have confidence. I don't know how. I don't know where it came from. But ever since I was very little, I've had the confidence just to do anything and everything I wanted to. But meeting people along my journey and seeing that they lack confidence was really, I questioned it. Why do you not have it? Where does it come from? Are we born with it? Do we build on confidence? If so, are there ways to build confidence? So that's why I asked you to sit down with me today.
This is fascinating for me. I love interviews like this because these are the places that I usually go to because I always think about the human condition. I would tell you this. It could be that people are born with confidence and then maybe something happens in life and it gets jolted.
Yes.
That could happen. Other people maybe are never surrounded by other people that affirm them. But this is an interesting observation. There are people that I've been around, and this is what I love. I love to be around all different kinds of people. And something that surprised me is that I've been among people that could be maybe at the very high registers of society. They could be the beautiful people, the wealthy people, the very prominent people, the affluent. Well, that's sort of like wealthy. But the things that amazed me is that a lot of them will protect themselves because they feel so insecure, as if they have part of their personality developed, and then they'll have a little bit of a shell around them, and they won't let anybody get too close because either they're so afraid of being found out, about maybe being lacking in a certain part of their life, or they feel they have to be perfect. And I would say in my case, I was never perfect at anything. Some of my biggest failures, in a sense, became such building blocks for my own personal confidence. So I would say both are right. Some people are born with confidence, and then others really lack it. But you know what I have found? People that try to cover up and pretend they have a confidence they don't have, or let me better say this. When they don't allow themselves to be at least a little bit vulnerable and learn through those areas that are challenging for them, they don't grow. And then they have more to cover up. And then they're less confident.
I agree. I think that the idea of looking within, taking a moment, taking a break, look within, look at your past failures. I think that is very good. Look at your past failures and build on that. Why did I fail at that? Or why do I think I failed at that? Because sometimes you didn't truly fail at it.
Right, and how could I go back and learn what I want to learn?
Yeah, to build on those building blocks. I think confidence can be learned. I mean, obviously.
Or acquired, yeah.
But there are different ways to go about it. I mean, if you don't have anybody around you that builds that confidence either, you may struggle a little more to find your own confidence.
Yes.
Than if somebody who was in a family
healthier environment.
Who's surrounded and built that confidence up. I think that is a huge difference as well.
You're right.
So I feel like that's kind of probably where I got mine from, is the support system I had around me who were saying, hey, you may have failed, but get up and do it again, because that doesn't mean it's completely over for you.
I have been around people, and this is again because I end up in so many different venues. I have been around young people, let's say they're going through Ivy League universities, that come from families that, they're like legacy families, nice kids, but everything sort of was done for them.
Yes.
Versus kids that are working and it's taking them several years to get through college at a state school or, a state school. And what I see in them, it's like a grit.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, we need grit in the world. And it's okay. It's okay. And if there's one other thing I could say, and I've seen this too, where people try to cover over for what they don't know. And then what happens is that they build all the defenses up and they never grow beyond. And sometimes, put this, whether it's in a business place, a relationship spot, or even as you go through school learning, if you hide what you don't know, it eventually catches up.
Yes. So I have a lot of families that come to me and say, Lydia, they interviewed great. They interviewed so well, but when it came down to it, they couldn't do the basics. So when you talk about interviewing people and you have a baseline, don't get us wrong. We're not just going to hire anybody. There is a basics and a baseline of what you need to know.
Absolutely.
But I would absolutely hire the person who's eager to learn and maybe lack one or two skills that I can very much so teach them, rather than somebody who pretends that they're the perfect. I've never been in a difficult situation. I'm pretty sure everybody's been in a difficult situation, but they don't fully tell the truth, and then they do cover up. And that it's like the what is it, like fake confidence,
Yes.
The persona of confidence, and then when you get to the real, they get to the real deal, then they fall apart.
There's nothing there because the confidence is the thing that holds you up.
So we want to leave these guys with some tangible, they can check off their checklist items that will help them to get those stepping stones in place to build that confidence. So what are some ways that we can start checking off and start doing everyday items to build that confidence?
Oh, I like that. All right, I'm going to go back to the original place we started, which were the definitions.
Okay.
Confidence is the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something. In this case, it'll be ourselves, right?
Yep.
Firm trust. How do we develop the firm trust? It's usually by exercising. We exercise ourselves. We don't exercise somebody else. It's our exercise. And the other one is a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. So why don't you start by saying, who do I want to be? If I went inside myself and I'm not thinking about anybody else out there, what's important to me in life? What makes me feel happy? Where do I envision myself going because my heart really wants it? Because if there's something you want to do and you take a little bit of time every day, you notice I have these journals. I've been keeping them for several years. Take a few minutes every morning or every night and just do a recap of your day. First of all, put in your journal, what are some of those things I want in my future? What do I want to get good at? It doesn't make a difference if nobody else is going for it. You be that unique person. Write those things down, and after you do, say to yourself, what can I do to further myself along that route?
Yeah.
So we talked about the word confidence. One of the big things is getting out of your comfort zone. You'll never gain confidence if you're always doing
the same 5 things.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But if you step out of your comfort zone and you allow yourself to trip and whatever it is you're going to do along the way, what's amazing, you may actually feel along the process like you're losing confidence, but you're actually losing your ego.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're gaining confidence and losing the fear side. So I would say to me, this is the best thing. You keep your own sort of a diary or a journal of where I want to go, what I want to do. And you keep those things in mind. So every day say, all right, have I researched some of those things I'm interested in today? What have I done to further myself along the path? And one of the things we spoke about off camera is you said you were in high school, you took public speaking.
Yeah,
So did
I
I.
think I was in elementary school, actually. I think I was in 5th grade, and we went to a Toastmasters class. So me and my sisters, both my sisters, and the class was basically, here's a group of people. I want you to go every week and write a small portion about whatever you want and speak about it in front of this class. And it had to be a certain length and whatnot. So I think that was really beneficial to me at a young age like that. And that was a young age. My older sister was 5 years older than me, so she was more in middle school, and it helped her as well. But Toastmasters class, public speaking, we took it. And
I think that's incredibly important, because think about this. What if you're a person, you have a lot of ideas, but you don't have the confidence to express those ideas in front of others? Sometimes it's a matter of even hearing our own voice speak in a room of other people, and then you're saying to yourself, oh, what are they going to think of me? But the more you express yourself, the more you empower yourself, and the more you're less fearful. Because a lot of times our fears are in our head. And then when they're in our head, we carry them in our bodies. And people sense that about us. But you're right, a Toastmasters class, even if you want to be in a position where you're working with little children and you have to guide them and lead them, or you get into a place where you could help teach other people something, all of these skills help you to exercise yourself in new ways.
You know, it's funny that you say that. So I failed reading twice in high school. When I graduated high school, I went back to the elementary school that I used to go to as a child myself, and I volunteered to help children read. So I took a failure of mine and applied it to somebody else. Now, I was still not the confidence. I mean, I can read at a 2nd grade level. Don't get me wrong. But it was the fact that they placed me in charge of these children and teaching them something that I personally failed at 2 times in high school. So doing something completely out of my comfort zone, something that I know that I failed at in the past but wanted to bring back around. Again, I know how to read at a 2nd grade level, so it wasn't the fact that I couldn't read, but putting myself in the place to teach somebody else something that I completely failed at. I also took improv in high school. Improv was,
that's definitely out of your comfort zone too, right?
That is huge. You're on your toes.
Yes.
You're trying to respond to somebody. You're worrying about trying to make the audience laugh. I was in theater, so being on stage in front of people. Again, monologues, speaking in front of people. I think there's a bunch of things that you can do in a group setting, but I really enjoyed the fact that you mentioned looking at your day-to-day. What did I do today to hit those stepping stones? Or what did I put in place today that'll help me for tomorrow to do those stepping stones? I really think that's a great idea. Reflecting on you and sitting down with yourself to say, where do I want to be?
Right.
In
Don't
10,
compete with
15 years?
anybody. It's not even necessary.
No.
You just be your best version of you.
Yes. Like you said, if it's something unique and nobody else is doing it, great. But I hear a lot of my friends say, oh, well, there's so many nurses out there. I don't want to be a nurse. Why? Why? Wouldn't you add to that? You shouldn't have to worry about there's too many, there's not enough. Don't worry about it. If that's something that makes you genuinely happy and that is something that you want to do it. If you want it, You have to go do it for yourself. You can't have somebody else do
Right.
it for you.
And that's
right?
also self-sabotage. I want to be
Yes.
a nurse,
Yeah.
but there's so many others.
Yeah.
You could say that about any profession out there. But the thing is, as you develop your own confidence, your own techniques, you inject your own personality and your life experience into something. What happens is that, yes, you are a member of that profession, but people come to know you by the flavor that you are.
Yes.
It's almost like there's 1,000 spices out there, but people like that one spice.
Yep.
And that spice happens to be you. And if they're going to like you for your spice, and you're connecting with people that enjoy who and what you are,
Yeah.
tell me that that's not a gift in life. It's an absolute gift. There's one other thing before we close here that I think is important, because you mentioned this also at the very beginning. Not everybody is fortunate enough, let's say, to grow up in an environment where their family is, let's say, intact, healthy relationships, a lot of encouragement.
Yeah.
I could remember when I was in second grade, and it's not like I was the best reader, but I discovered that I needed leadership around me. There were questions I had, and I really didn't have anybody to ask. So I discovered books, and in my case, I discovered biographies. I read every single biography in the 5th grade class. There were probably like middle school biographies. They don't even have them anymore, which is interesting. I looked. These were American biographies, men, women, Indians. It didn't matter. But here's the thing, and I hope somebody keeps this in mind. In every biography, you're reading the story of a person that starts out from birth. They go through childhood. They're born in a certain place at a certain time with certain challenges and sometimes a certain dream. And in every biography that I remember reading, they always had to overcome something.
Yes.
And what was happening in me, and this is why it's important not only to maybe have your own journals and write your own thoughts, but glean from others things that they've learned. I learned in every biography, those people became great because they all overcame their own challenges. And they didn't just arise into something good. They were doing amazing things, and sometimes the bigger the challenge, the more amazing they became or the more influential.
Yeah.
So there's things you could do physically, like getting involved in improv, right? Or going to, as you said, a Toastmasters class. There's things you could do almost spiritually, you know, like you could read things that are spiritual. You could go and become more intuitive and say, who was I hanging around today? Do I have some friendships or relationships that are really bombing me in my head and playing havoc? And do I need to separate a little bit?
Oh, absolutely.
What did I hear or what did I read today that really had an impression on me? Those go in, and then you feed your mind with some good things. And you just always go back and think, now, what is that thing that I have inside of me that really fuels me onward? And even though I'm busy and even distracted, how can I keep myself on course? And eventually, you'll get there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't even know what it's going to look like, but it's going to be like, wow, look at this, where my work and my opportunity met up with a need.
Yeah.
If you've got a friend, a co-worker, a family member, ask them what the best quality of you is.
That's
And
a
it could
good
be
idea.
something like, you always make me laugh. That's an awesome quality. The second definition of confidence is, I'm going to read it again because this is so important. Hold on, I don't want to make a mistake here. Listen to this. A feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities.
Yeah.
So you could be the one that knows how to fix things in the house, or as I said, you could be somebody who makes everybody feel good, or you can always see you could see the bright side of something, or you're a good problem solver. Ask a person that you trust, somebody who really likes you and appreciates you, to share with you what they think is one or more of your good qualities.
Yeah.
Write it down, and on a bad day, go back and remember.
reflect on it,
That'll help you
yeah.
with your confidence too.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate you sitting down with me.
You're so welcome, and thanks for inviting me to speak on confidence. It's a first.
Of course. Alrighty, guys, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.